दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय
Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. A very warm welcome to all gathered for this Vivechan session today. And what a wonderful time of the year the sadhaks of Geeta ji and Sri Krishna are. We just completed the holy month of Kartik, and today we embark on the auspicious month of Margashira. The month of Margashira is considered one of the most auspicious and holds immense significance. It has, in fact, been mentioned by Bhagavan himself in Bhagavad-Gītā, when in chapter 10 he said, Bruhat sama tatha samnang gayatri chandasamaham masanang margashishoham rutunang kusumakara. This period is traditionally seen as a time of spiritual rejuvenation, as it is believed that during this month, the divine energies are remarkably accessible, make it an ideal time for spiritual practices like chanting or meditation or even pilgrimage. Margashirsha is the month of the Mokshada Ekadasi too, dedicated to the worship of Bhagavan Vishnu for liberation from the sins to achieve moksha. It is the day when Geeta Jayanti is celebrated, as it is believed that Bhagavan Shri Krishna gave the sermon of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on that day. Therefore, this is the month when chanting and learning Bhagavad Gita takes a special importance. We are all blessed that Gita Pariwar has given us this opportunity to not only learn to chant Gita correctly, but through the wonderful Vivechan sessions, we get to absorb its invaluable meanings so that we can bring it into our lives. Today, we are lucky to be present at the fourth session on the teachings of the Sankhya Yoga on the first day of the holy month of Margashirsha. It is our age-old tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of an important event, as prayer is the yearning of the soul for the Paramatma. Today, I would like to call upon Shefali Dutt ji from Ranchi, Jharkhand, to deliver the prayers. Shefali ji is a homemaker who joined Gita Pariwar in 2022 and currently provides seva as a technical assistant. Didi, request you to please fill the session with a melody of the prayer.
Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kansa Chanudamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna Sabhi.
Thank you so much, Shefali ji, for rendering the prayer so beautifully. It is said in the Skanda Purana that when one lights a lamp during the month of Kartik, one burns away one sin. And we are just one day away from the month of Kartik. Light is also the illuminating force in the darkness, just like Geeta ji is in our lives. For doing the deep Prajwalan on this auspicious day, I would like to call upon Manjurani Gupta ji from Badaun, Uttar Pradesh. With an educational background of post-graduation, Manju ji is now a homemaker. She joined Gita Pariwar in January 2023 and gives seva as a technical assistant and GC for level 3 and level 4. Request Manju ji to proceed with the deep Prajwalan.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Manju ji, for making us part of the Deep Prajwalan. Before we proceed with the Vivechan session, we invite all sadhaks to share the link of Gita Paribar website, which is www.learngeeta.com, to all their near and dear ones, so they too can come to the refuge of Geeta ji and embark on the wonderful and spiritual and transformative journey in life. And now, I'm profoundly delighted and honored to introduce our speaker this evening, Vikas ji Vaidya. Vikas ji, with proficiency in 6 languages, imparts valuable perspective and knowledge through his innumerable commentaries. a bachelor in mechanical engineering. He runs an IT firm from Pune. Over the last 5 years, he has been reciting the entire Bhagavad Gita every day of the year. As a senior trainer at Gita Pariwar, he not only serves as a trainer, but is involved in the process of selection and training new trainers. He teaches and conducts Vivechan session as a member of the Pune chapter of Gita Pariwar. He guides aspiring Ratis for the Gita exam conducted by the Sringeri Peeth. In fact, he has aced the Gita Kanthasthi exam at Sringeri Peeth, where he was awarded the first prize from the hands of Param Pujya Jagat Shankaracharya ji. I now humbly request Vikas ji to illuminate our minds with a wonderful teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Vikas ji.
जय श्री कृष्ण वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। वी आर डिस्कसिंग अध्याय सेकंड सांख्य योग। लास्ट टाइम वी हैड कवर्ड श्लोक अप टू 31. So let us start with shlok number 32. We have discussed that shlok 31 was Swadharmamapi chaveksha navikampitum dharmyadhyuddha shreyo nyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Paramatma now is reminding Arjuna about the duty, his dharma. Continuing that, shlok 32. Yadruchaya chopapannam Swargadvaramapavrutam Sukhinah kshatriyah partha labhante yuddhamidrusham. Actually, shlok 32, 33, 34, we can take all together because they are all interconnected. However, we see the meaning. What is Yadruchaya? Yadruchaya means without wishing for it. Something which comes on its own accord. That is Yadruchaya. Upapannam, to arrive at. Apavrutam, widely open. Labhante, labhante is to get, to achieve. Idrusham is like this. So Paramatma says, O Partha, such Kshatriyas are so fortunate who unsought obtain the opportunity of such a war which is an open gateway to the heaven. Swargadvaramapavrutam. So a Kshatriya is very lucky if he gets an opportunity to fight such dharma yuddha. Then Shlok 33 says, Athachetvamiman dharmyam sangraman na karishyasi tatasvadharman kirtincha hitva papamavapsasi. Atha, therefore, Tvam, you, imam is this, dharmam sangramam, dharma yuddha, hitva is to lose. Paramatma says, Atachetvam iman dharmam sangraman na karishyasi, tatasya dharmam kirtencha hitva papam avapsasi. So if you do not fight this war, which is a dharmama yuddha for you, which is to uphold the dharma, then you will violate your duty, your dharma, and forfeit your honor, and thereby you will commit the sin. Papama obsessi. You will attain sin. You will commit sin if you don't fight the war. Arjuna was under the impression that if he fights the war, then he will incur sin. Paramatma says, no, you are wrong, you are mistaken. If you don't fight the war, then you will commit the sin. Just the opposite of what you are thinking. Then in Shlok 34, Paramatma continues by saying that Akirtincha vibhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtir marnadati richyate. Akirti is infamy. Kathayishyanti will keep talking of vyayam for an indefinite period of time. And sambhavitasya for a honest, sincere, good-natured person. Kirti marnadati richyate. So people will always keep talking about your disgrace, that Arjuna has run away from the battlefield. So they will keep talking for indefinite period of time of Vyayam, your disgrace and your dishonor. And to an honorable person, dishonor is certainly worse than the death. We see if a sincere person, honest, whom we respect very much, if he is caught by police for some crime which he may or might not have done also, he feels as if he should die. Rather than facing the society, he should better die. So Paramatma is now reminding that. Because Shri Krishna, we'll discuss all the three shlokas together now. Shri Krishna is a great psychotherapist, what we discussed last time also. First, he started by talking about the perishable body and the imperishable Atma. We read many shlokas to this meaning. Then he spoke about his duty as a warrior. And now he's focusing on Arjuna's mind, his potential, his capabilities, and the danger in not working as per his innate nature, which is of a highly reputed brave Kshatriya. You see, in Gita we learn this one thing for sure, that Atma of everybody is same. So at Atma level, there is no difference between Shri Krishna, you or me. Everybody's Atma is same. But there is definitely great difference at the intellectual level. And this difference can be seen between Shri Krishna and Arjuna as well. Shri Krishna had nothing to gain from the war. And moreover, he was never a propagator of violence. He had given his entire army to Kauravas, his Narayani Sena, and he himself was on the side of Pandavas. He also tried many times by going to Kauravas to stop the war. But it did not work. Duryodhana was very adamant. So finally he said, okay, I am on both sides. What do you want? You want me or my army? You asked Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, I want your army, Narayani Sena. So he gave his army to Kauravas. And he himself was on the side of Pandavas. That too he said, I will not use any weapons. So he was unarmed. So in effect, his own army was fighting against him. Because Narayani Sena was with Kaurava and Krishna himself was on the Pandava side. So his own army was fighting against him. This is completely unprecedented. In the world history, there is no such example wherein the Senapati is on one side and his army is on other side and fighting against him. Unprecedented. No one has ever been as neutral as Shri Krishna. He agreed with Arjuna to become his charioteer, Sarathi. Because as per the rules of war at that time, no one could use weapon against the charioteer. See, the war of Mahabharata was indeed very unique on several grounds. First of all, it was a war between the relatives who were divided in two camps. Kaurava and Pandavas, they were brothers actually, cousins. Secondly, no one would fight after sunset. That was the rule of the war. And thirdly, after sunset, Pandavas could move freely in the Kaurava camp. And vice versa. Kauravas could also visit Pandavas camp to inquire about each other's well-being. Kuch zyada lag gaya kya? Something like that. Oh, strange, no? Very, very strange. Furthermore, at the end of war, when Pitamaha Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrows, Sri Krishna asked Pandavas to seek his teachings because Pitamaha Bhishma was a great yogi. Can you imagine Pandavas who were responsible for Bhishma's predicament? His body was pierced with the arrows from Arjuna, but all of the Pandavas, led by Yudhishthir, going to him with folded hands and seeking teachings from him. And Bhishma also, with his body riddled with multiple piercing arrows, gave them the great Vishnu Sahasranam on the battlefield of Kurukshetra when he was counting his last moment. Those who have learned Vishnu Sahasranam from Gita Pariwar, they know this. Yudhishthira asked him a question, Kimi kandaivatalloke kim vappe parayanam stvantah kankamarchantah prapnirmanavashvam. Who is that one God whose puja can be done and who will remove all the predicaments, all the problems of human beings, who will do all shubha, all auspicious things for the human beings. Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo matah Injapan muchyate jantur janma samsara bandhana. So these were the questions asked by Yudhishthira to Pitamaha Bhishma. And Pitamaha Bhishma, he replied him, reciting the entire Vishnu Sahasranam, 1000 names of Bhagavan Vishnu, replying to Yudhishthira's queries. So this was very strange. This was the strange thing of Mahabharata war. Now coming back to this concept of Swarga Dvarma Pavrutam, the concept of heaven and hell has been impressed upon us by the society. Almost all people at old age, suddenly they start performing some virtuous acts, some sattvic karma. The most corrupt and greedy man becomes unexpectedly charitable in his old age. At many temples, dharmashalas, charitable institutions, you will find photos with the tagline, "In the memory of so and so," hanging on the walls of those institutions. But the question is, any donation made out of fear, or for that matter, any auspicious action, karma, undertaken out of fear, how auspicious can it be? You're doing it out of fear. The next question is, do the heaven and hell really exist? Certainly our scriptures mention about heaven and hell at many places. But where do they exist? In this shloka, Sri Krishna himself mentions about heaven. So when he mentions about heaven, certainly there would be hell also, isn't it? Scriptures mention occurrence of 7 worlds, existence of 7 worlds. 3 of these are within the earth's core, down in the patal. And hell is said to be present within these 3 worlds which are down the earth. Heaven and hell exist, but these are not some physical places or tangible structures, that this building is heaven, that building is hell. There is no such physical structure there. Every individual has his own heaven and hell, because they will emerge from his own mind. Like the dreams emerge from his own mind, similarly, the heaven and hell also emerge from his mind only. Dreams are the imagination of your own mind, but while you are dreaming, they appear to be so real that you never doubt about their authenticity. The dream appears so real when you are watching the dream in the sleep. On the contrary, during the wake-up stage, you get skeptical about the reality of this world and seek to know, how is this waking state? What dreams? What is sleep? What is this universe? Where do I see God? In fact, you question the whole creation of the God when you are wake up. But never you question the creation of your own mind. During the wakeful stage, you may grieve, you may cry out of pain and misery. However, in the midst of crying, if you fall asleep, then all your sufferings vanish in a moment. Because when you are sleeping, you don't cry, you don't grieve. That vanishes. The fear that you perceive when you see a nightmare is very real at that time when you are watching that dream. In fact, it affects your body too. Body starts sweating, heartbeats become fast. And when the fear becomes overwhelming, intolerable, you wake up suddenly. And it takes some time for you to come back to normalcy. For a while, the distinction between your dream and the reality appears very blurred. Then slowly you emerge out of the effects of that dream, isn't it? We experience it many times. A small story about it. Once a king was sitting, his only son had died. And he was sitting by the side of his son's dead body, wailing and weeping and crying in great distress over his son's death. Crying and crying and crying. As soon as he fell asleep, he had a dream. He dreamed that he was the father of 12 handsome and powerful sons who had their own separate kingdoms. Everyone was happy. But suddenly, what is the dream he saw was, suddenly an epidemic broke and killed all his sons. The shocked and utterly inconsolable king was crying aloud in his dream also, with intense pain. All my 12 sons have died. And then he woke up. Intense pain in the dream, losing 12 sons, he woke up. He found his wife crying for the real son who had died. The king was shell-shocked with his entire experience that he fell into stunned silence. He had seen the death of his only son. Then when he went to sleep, he saw the death of his 12 sons. So he was in stunned silence. His worried wife asked him as to why he was not crying for his only son. The shaken up king, he replied, who should I really cry for? Who should I really weep for? This one son or the 12 sons who had died earlier? This whole life is a dream. That is what Paramatma wants to say. This whole life is a dream. See it as a dream only. And come out of this dream and face the reality that you and Paramatma are one and same. Now a few more words about hell and heaven. The depiction of hell is a reflection of human fears. According to Hindu religion, hell is a very scorching, boiling, hot place. In Kalyan magazine, what we see is like this only. Likewise, in Tibetan structures or scriptures, the hell is represented as a place below freezing temperature. Because those people think freezing temperatures are very bad. So the hell is considered as below freezing temperatures. But when you consider the heaven, is a reflection of human greed and the lust. All the human lust is exaggerated in their definition of heaven. Like we say, there is a kalpavruksha in heaven which will fulfill all your desires. So to compensate all the thwarted desires when you are alive, people find solace in the concept of heaven where all their unfulfilled wishes will be fulfilled. That is what they call as heaven. See, almost all religions, they regard celibacy, brahmacharya, one patni vrata, as a laudable attribute. So there depicted heaven invariably for all religions, including our religion, is full of beautiful young dancing damsels. You go to heaven and Menka and Rambha will be dancing there for you. In reality, there is nothing but it's an extension of human lust. Like Kalpavruksha is also nothing but the form of your innate desires. Now Shri Krishna is well versed with this mindset of heaven and hell in the human minds. Hence, he is now presenting the possibility of heaven and hell to Arjuna, dangling the carrot of heaven and cautioning against the prospect of hell. Krishna says that if you perform your duty, the gates of heaven will be widely open for you. On the contrary, if you fail to do so, you fail to perform your prescribed duty of waging the war, then you will certainly incur sin for not discharging your duty. And thus you will lose your reputation as a valiant warrior, which for any respectable person is worse than dying. Maranadati richyate. The pain of infamy, the stigma of humiliation is intolerable to a man of eminence. Respect. See how Krishna is fanning the ego of Arjuna. He is inciting Arjuna and provoking his masculine pride. You are a brave person, wake up now. To continue further, Krishna says in Shlok number 35, Bhayadranadu paratam mausente tva maharathaha yeshai chatvam bahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam So to continue, Paramatma says, Arjuna, all those who have so far held you in high esteem, Bahumato, they were looking at you in high esteem. Oh, great man, Arjuna. They will look at you with disdain and disrespect. Bhayat is from the battle, from out of fear, and Arnath is from the battlefield. Uparatam is to withdraw, to run away. So Paramatma says to Arjuna, all those who have so far held you in high esteem because of your bravery will look at you with disdain and disrespect. Moreover, they will think that you have run away, Uparate, from the battlefield, Arnath, out of fear. And this will regard you as a coward. Bhayat. Arjuna was a very, very august and very eminent, brave person, individual, who was widely respected by everyone. Particularly after he easily accomplished the difficult task that had been set up for winning Draupadi's hand in her Draupadi Swayamvar. The task, as we all know, was to hit the eye of a rotating fish dangling from the roof. But by not viewing the fish, but its reflection in the water. And Arjuna was the only one who accomplished that task, which was a reflection of his skill, of his one-pointed focus, of his mastery. This remarkable feat of Arjuna fetched him much acclaimed praise all over the country that time. And Sri Krishna is cautioning Arjuna that all the people who have so far viewed him with such respect and dignity would deride him, would degrade him, and look at him like a pygmy. Oh, you are such an ordinary person. You are not a brave man. For the cowardly act of deserting the battlefield. If you run away from the battlefield, then people will look at you as a pygmy, not as Bahumato, but as Lagu, small person, ordinary man. To continue further, Paramatma says in slok number 36, Avachyavadanshya bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastav samarthyan tato dukkhatarannukim. Arjuna, your enemies will belittle you. They will question your worthiness. Is he really brave? Or we were all under misunderstanding that he is a brave person. They will start doubting, questioning your worthiness. They will say with appalling, harsh, highly insulting words for you. Avachyavadansh. The language which should not be spoken, they will use that kind of language against you. That is, उनको गालियां देंगे वो. They will use bad words against you. And what can be more hurtful than having to listen to such humiliation from some unworthy, lowly people? They are not as capable as Arjuna. They are not as brave as Arjuna. But any Tom, Dick and Harry will come and will talk bad about you. So let us understand that Sri Krishna is not forcing Arjuna to fight. He just reminded Arjuna of his duties, of his obligations, and hence motivating him to uphold his duty, his dharma as a warrior, as a kshatriya. He says to Arjuna that he will forever be unhappy if he refuted to act as per his innate nature. Your innate nature is a kshatriya, Kining. Are you a kshatriya? No? Yes. Your innate nature is of a kshatriya. You have fought so many wars. You have defeated so many enemies. That is your innate nature. Now, this stand which you are taking now at this moment is against your own innate nature. And this is going to be a temporary feeling in your mind. So for the whole of your life, you yourself will blame yourself that why did I act like that on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Because Sri Krishna knew that the fear of infamy and derision was deeply ingrained in human psyche. Everybody is afraid. Arjuna was no exception. History is full of so many stories, be it love or renunciation, sannyas. The fear in human mind has always been and is there today also is what people will say. लोग क्या कहेंगे? Anything happens in our life, the first question our parents used to ask us, अरे तुम किया है, but लोग क्या कहेंगे? Now we also ask the same thing to our children. Oh, fine, what you have done, but what will people say? Have you thought about it? So Krishna is cautioning Arjuna not to fall prey to disrepute, for then not only will his enemies, but all his friends will also defame him if he leaves the battlefield and withdraw from the battle of Kurukshetra. Further, Slok 37, Paramatma says, now what is the consequence? What is the consequence of war? That Paramatma is saying. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः. Lord says, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, there could be two consequences of this war. Consequence number one, you will either get killed on the battlefield. But if that happens, then you will get entry into the heaven. Because while performing your duty as a Kshatriya, you have died in a Dharmama Yuddha, so you will get entry into the heaven. Swarga Dvama Pavartam, that we have seen already. Or you will vanquish your enemies. If that possibility happens, then you will enjoy the kingdom and establish the righteousness for which we are fighting this war. So either way, you will be in a win-win situation. If you die, heaven. If you win over your enemies, kill them, then you enjoy the kingdom and establish the righteousness in this kingdom. And hence, Uttishta, get up with firm determination and fight. Now in our day-to-day life, we also notice this, that in family disputes, harsh words pierce like arrows. However close the relative may be, if he uses some harsh words against us, they pierce like arrows in us. You wish to escape the situation in despair that time. Like Arjuna wanted to run away, you also want to run away from that situation that time. But we need to look at this from the viewpoint of Guru and Shishya. This dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, we should see it from the perspective of Guru and Shishya dialogue. Guru-shishya relationship is the most remarkable and no other relationship can be compared with it. Everything else that we achieve or attain in this world leaves us, but the grace and wisdom bestowed by Guru leads us to the realization of Parabrahma. Just everything what we earn, what we get in this world, we have to leave it here only. But the grace and wisdom that we get from our Guru, that leads us to the realization of Parabrahma, from whom we actually have never been away, but we didn't know that. So if the bond between Guru and disciple is deep enough, then the seed of wisdom is bound to bear the fruits. However, the soil also needs to be fertile. The Shishya also should be capable, no? So the soil needs to be fertile as well. If the ground is full of gravel and stones, the seeds of high quality, of course, will not sprout. Likewise, the ground of intellect needs to be made fertile through the cultivation of love, faith, surrender, seva, service, so that the Guru sows the seed of knowledge and it will most certainly yield the fruit of moksha. So this is the magic of relationship between Guru and Shishya. And that is what the relationship was between Krishna and Arjuna. Slok number 38, Paramatma continues. Oh, this is a wonderful shloka. As Pujya Guru Swamiji says, Gita padhe padhaye aur jivan mein laaye. This is one slok which we should try to bring in our life. Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papamavapsasi. Naivam papamavapsasi. Paramatma says, Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau. tato yuddha ijjasva naivam papam vapsasi. Krutva. Krutva means to do something. Tata. Thereafter, then after yuddhaya, for the sake of fighting, yujjasva, get engaged in fighting, of course, here. Evam, in this way, papam, the sinful karma bandha, avapsasi, you will get. So Paramatma says, having made yourself alike in pain and pleasure, sukha dukkhe samay krutva, profit and loss, labha labho, labh and alabh, alabh is loss, victory and defeat, jaya jayo. Engage in this great war and you will be freed from your sins. So don't look at this war from sukha, dukkha, labha, hani, jay, parajay. Take it only as your kartavya karma, as your prescribed duty, and get engaged in this great war. Then you will be freed from your sins. Then you will not get any pap. With this shloka, Paramatma, Shri Krishna Bhagavan, is again elevating Arjuna's mind, filling his mind with his intellect with the light of knowledge. This is a great piece of knowledge. The Lord says that there is a strong stench of egoism in being concerned with my victory, my defeat, my fame, my infamy. This concern for my, me, has a strong bad smell of ego. That I may not be victorious is fear. That I should be victorious is vasana, force of desire. And Sri Krishna is asking Arjuna to rise above all this I and my and regard everything seemingly duality, sukha dukkha, jay parajay, labh labho, all that, be it pleasure or pain, victory or defeat, profit or loss, in the same way, equanimity. See, all that you experience in the dream becomes meaningless as soon as you wake up. We discussed this, isn't it? Irrespective of whether you were victorious in your dream or you suffered a huge loss in your dream, it becomes meaningless as soon as you wake up from the dream. Whether you dreamed of being an emperor in the dream or you dreamed of being a pauper or a beggar in the dream, as soon as you wake up, the dream is forgotten in an instant. Take this also as a long dream. Indeed, our battle for life, these dualities of pleasure and pain, etc., do not matter, because in the end, it is just a dream. And just perform your duty. That is most important. Don't look at sukha, dukkha, jay, parajay, labh, hani. Perform your duty. And be assured that you will not incur any sin in doing so. But if you keep your eyes on sukha, pleasure, labh, victory, then you will incur sin. But considering both as same, similar, equanimity, then you will not incur sin. So this is a great mantra Paramatma has given to us for living, for following in our day-to-day life as well. Provided you act with an equanimous mind, neither motivated by fear of defeat nor any desire to win. It is the desire that creates the bondage. Equanimity gets you the moksha, on the contrary. So if you want to gain moksha, every activity that we perform in the life should follow this mantra of sukha dukkhe samay kripa labha labho jayaji. And then tato yuddhaya. We don't do war, but yuddhaya here is with our kartavya karma, our prescribed duty. So the law of karma is applicable as long as you perform your karma with a sense of doership. Maine kiya, I have done it. If you are the doer, then you will be the receiver of consequences, obviously. Whatever karmas have been done and you say, I have done this karma, then you are the receiver of consequences of those karmas. And your own mind may give you the fruits. For example, if you do a virtuous act, sattvic act, your mind feels good. Very nice. I have done a good job today. You do something wicked, bad, and your mind feels fearful. I have done something wrong. This is a mind game. Every thief is gripped by the fear of getting caught. Now, whether he really gets caught or not, his mind has already punished him with the whip of fear and stress. See, it is our subconscious mind that inspires the act performed by our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is the most important thing. And Sri Krishna is saying that the one who has transcended his mind and realized his real self, his swa, gets freed from the sense of doership. So our effort should be to get rid of from the sense of doership so that we don't have to face the consequences. And for that, the rule is Sukha Dukhe Samay Krutva Labha Labho Jaya. Then it does not remain a doer anymore. Like the kernel of rice is separate from the covering husk. When you see the rice, the brain, the bran. Likewise, although you reside within this mind, you are nevertheless distinct from your mind. The mind acts according to the sanskars lying in our subconscious mind. So our mind, it acts according to the samskars which are lying in our subconscious layers. There are several such subconscious layers. You may get the part of fruit of your action instantaneously, immediately. That karma phala which you get instantaneously is called kriyaman. Whereas you receive the reminder in future. In future when? It is not in your hands. The Prakriti decides when to give that remaining of your karma phala in future. Maybe not in this life, maybe in next life also. We don't know when. It is not in our hands at all. And the sum total of all of our karmas, not only of this life, but all of our previous lives, it is referred to as Sanchit, deposit, Sanchit. And it lies in our subconscious mind. All the Sanchits of our previous lives as well as this life are lying in our subconscious mind in the form of Sanchit. And when they prop up as a karma phala, we call it Prarabdha. When we cannot find answer as to why a person who has done so exceedingly well in his exam, why he failed in the interview for a job, he secured number 1 in his university, but in the job interview, one who was not having any number, an ordinary person, he got the job, and this number 1 fellow did not get the job. Prarabdha. His previous karma phala has propped up at a wrong time for him, but that is what we call as Prarabdha. So we have 3 things to remember: Kriyaman, Sanchit, and Prarabdha. Now Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, if knowing this, you perform your karma, Sukha Dukhe Samay Krutva Labha Labho, with an attitude of non-doership, you will have not to bear, you will not have to bear any sins. He is now focusing on karma and has retracted from that body, soul, heaven, hell. Sri Krishna is changing the track in almost every alternate shloka, and is touching all sides of human psychology. First he spoke about body and soul, then heaven and hell, then his duty as a warrior and all that. Now Sri Krishna always lived in the present, in the moment. No past, no future for him. A psychotherapist after all, great psychotherapist. After all, although he had pledged that he would not use any weapons in the war, he had not promised that I will not use my brain. And that is what he is doing now. He is using his brain to tell Arjuna that what you are doing is wrong. Has he used any weapon in telling this? No, he is only talking. He is using his brain. And it is not the weapon, but the brain behind the weapon that wins the war. You must have heard that the pain is mightier than the sword. Isn't it? We heard it many times. So for us, the message in this shloka is the battle of our life can be won only by our intellect, our wisdom, and not by any weapons. What weapons we have, which we consider as weapon? By weapon I mean wealth, our position, our prestige. We think that these weapons, with these weapons, we can win the war of life. Paramatma says, no, you are mistaken. You can win your battlefield of your battle of your life with intellect, with wisdom. We need wisdom that discriminates between real and unreal, truth and untruth to successfully sail through this battle of life. But Arjuna was a very fortunate person that he had a good friend like Krishna who was always advising him on what is to be done in life. Do we have anyone like this in our life who can keep correcting us, who will keep advising us every now and then to bring us on the right track? We can search and find somebody. A small story about it. Somebody who can convert complexity of life to simplicity. There was a boy, his name was Suraj. He went to his teacher and asked, "Sir, how many friends does a person need? Just one or many?" His teacher replied to him saying that, "That's a very simple question. You will know the answer for yourself. Come with me. Come." The teacher he took the student, that Suraj, to a nearby garden. Pointing to an apple tree, he said, "You will get your answer. But before that, would you bring me an apple from the highest branch of this apple tree? I want that apple which is there at the top. Can you bring it for me?" Suraj looked up at the tree and with very evident disappointment on his face, he said, "Sir, I really don't want to bring you an apple. I really want to bring, but I'm unable to bring because it's too high. I cannot bring." Then teacher said, "Why don't you ask your friends to help you for this? You can call your friend." So this fellow Suraj, he got excited and he ran to his friends. He reached out to one of his friends and asked for his help, that I want to bring that apple from the top branch. My teacher wants to have it. So can you help me? Can we both work together and bring that apple? So the two fellows, Suraj and his friend, they tried standing on each other's shoulders one by one, still could not reach the uppermost branch of that apple tree. Soon both got exhausted and felt discouraged. Suraj looked at his teacher and said, "Sir, I cannot get to that branch. What should I do now?" The teacher replied, "Do you have any other friends, any more friends, or this is the only one you have?" With a renewed vigor, Suraj got up and he went back to bring some more of his friends. In their attempt to reach the branch, all the friends started to make a variety of formation, like we see in that Dayandi, standing on one another's shoulders and backs. But nothing seemed to work. The branch was so high to reach that that pyramid created by these kids soon crumbled and they could not get that apple. Ultimately, they got all tired and had lost all the hopes of reaching that branch. Seeing this, teacher called Suraj back and asked, "So did you get your answer? Do you understand now how many friends does a person need?" Suraj responded, "Yes, sir, I got the answer. A person needs to have a lot of friends so that together they can try and solve any problem." The teacher shook his head in disapproval. Wrong. With a smile on his face, the teacher said, "Of course, we should have a lot of friends, so that among them, there would be at least one smart person who would figure out to bring a ladder. Why you're climbing on each other's shoulder and all that? Why none of your friends thought that you can bring a ladder and take that apple from the top branch?" A man is known by the company he keeps. He gets influenced directly or indirectly by the people he surrounds himself with. So what kind of people we are surrounding ourselves with? If we are surrounded all Buddha people, then we will also become Buddha. We cannot rise above this. Our intellect level will remain the same as it is today. It is thus highly important to be in the company of those who inspire us to push past our boundaries and be better than what we are really today. A real friend should have your interest in the heart and should help you to get more and more elevated with every passing moment, with every passing day. Further, slok number 39. एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे मां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्म बंधं प्रहास्यसि. Now, Isha means all this. Te means to you, Arjuna. Abhita has been informed, has been described. Sankhya, as per the Sankhya Yoga, as per the Jnana Yoga. That's mean all this teaching which I have given you until now, until slok number 38, was according to the Sankhya Yoga. Now, Isha te bhita Sankhya, buddhir yogitmam pru. Further, buddhya yukto yeya partha, karma bandham prahasyasi. The Lord says to Arjuna, so far I have been describing the path of jnana knowledge to you. But now I will explain the path of Nishkam Karma Yoga. Means the action done without any desire or expectation of fruits. So that your intellect can destroy all the bondages of karma. This equanimity has been explained in the context of knowledge, Sankhya, spiritualism, until all these shlokas what we have studied so far. Now listen to it in the context of Karma Yoga and waste no time in putting your thoughts into action. It is the practice of Karma Yoga which will liberate you from the bondage of karma, from the bondage of your karma. Now here the word Sankhya, it needs some explanation again. We discussed Sankhya on the first day, but it needs some more explanation. Sankhya Shastra is one of the oldest of 6 Hindu Shastras and explains clearly the difference between Prakriti and Purush, God and nature, calling both as eternal and mutually exclusive, but impliedly acknowledging the primeness of Purush over Prakriti. Because it is due to the non-interfering Purush that the Prakriti works. Mere presence of Purush makes Prakriti to work. Sankhya Shastra explains at length that Purush and Prakriti, and also the way to attain moksha. There is a close relationship between Sankhya and Yoga. There is a close relationship. It is thus that the Lord tells Arjuna that Sankhya-based knowledge of the self. What is Sankhya-based knowledge of the self? The knowledge of seeing God in all matters, all beings, is the knowledge based on Sankhya. And that is to be done through detachment, which detachment and freedom can be won and can be explained. God is repeatedly telling Arjuna that the only path, only sin is to act selfishly. And the main means to attain punya, the virtue, is to act unselfishly and with the true sense of sacrifice. Perform your duty as if you are performing a yajna. Sankhya Yoga is the knowledge and a means to attain liberation. The central idea of this shloka is that in Sankhya Yoga, the knowledge of attaining equanimity of mind has been explained. Now listen how this equanimity is attained through Karma Yoga. In Sankhya Yoga, it is attained by seeing God in all matters, that is the power that operates the nature. And in Karma Yoga, God is seen by purifying the mind with Nishkam Karma. But both will lead you to equanimity. One thing is sure, as long as we are alive, we cannot stay without performing karma, isn't it? But is it possible that these actions happen, yet there is no bondage of karma? Why go far? See, engrossed in samadhi all his life. Have you seen any photo of Krishna when he is sitting in samadhi? On the contrary, his life was full of diversified, colorful actions. He had to deal with one or the other troublemaker throughout his life, right from his childhood. Then be it Bakasur or his own uncle Kamsa followed by several others. At times he fought with his own hands himself. And there was occasion also when he fled the battlefield. He ran away from the battlefield. Of course, there is a solid reason for that. And hence his name is Ranchhod Das. One of the names of Krishna is Ranchhod Das, one who has run away from the Rana. Shri Krishna could do that also. Why did he do that? He did that because when he was living in Mathura, these Rakshasas, demons, were repeatedly attacking on Mathura several times to kill Krishna. And in the process, all the Mathura Nivasis, residents of Mathura, were put to great trouble. Every now and then there is a war, somebody is attacking. So he said, why? Because of me, all should come in problem. Better I go away from here. Then he ran away from Mathura. He left Mathura. So whatever he did, Krishna, in his life, he did it with love and wisdom. That is important. With no regrets. He did not regret any of his actions. Sri Krishna was the embodiment of the supreme consciousness, flawlessly perfect and complete in the real sense of the word, complete and perfect. Devotees all over the world, they are in the quest to attain this Krishna Chaitanya. That's why you see a lot of European Americans also dancing to Krishna bhajanas. They have understood Krishna. They want to be like him. And he performed all his life actions with detachment. That is most important. Being firmly established in the absolute truth, securely rooted in the eternal, indestructible, omnipresent existence. Here Shri Krishna is himself revealing the mystery of his awakened consciousness to Arjuna. Do everything without attachment, like Krishna himself did. He had no, he did not have any attachment with Yashoda, with Radha, with anybody, with gopis or with anybody. When he was there, he was there. But he left that, no attachment. Okay, let us proceed with slok number 40 now. Neha vikramanaşosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Paramatma says, on this path, the effort never goes west. On which path? This Nishkam Karma Yoga path, nothing goes west. Abhikrama, in trying, in endeavoring. Nasha is loss. Asti, there is. Pratyavaya, that means the reverse action. Dharmasya. Trayate, trayate is to release. Mahato, from very great. Bhayat is the fear. Paramatma says, on this path, the effort never goes west. And there is no failure also. Even a little effort towards spiritual awareness will yield protection from the greatest fears of life. Trayate mahato bhayat. For me personally, this is one of the most memorable shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. This shloka, Neha vikramanaşosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Swalpa, very little. Trayate mahato bhayat. It will take a lifetime on spiritual path to appreciate the applicability of this very aspect on our human life. What Paramatma has conveyed in this shloka. When we meditate on Lord within us, even for a short time every day, swalpa, short time, this effort is not wasted. Even if we meditate only 30 minutes every morning and try to practice the allied spiritual discipline to a small extent during the day. Take any good, all the shlokas are good, of course, but any shlok which you like the most. For example, if you like this shloka, take one charan of this shloka or this shloka and meditate on it every day for 30 minutes. Swalpamasya, dharmasya. If we do that as a habit, this can go a long way in guarding us against many fears which are known or unknown and which keep lurking in our consciousness. Most of us have fear of losing what we believe gives us security. Those who go after money are doing so under the impression that more money means more security. So this is the way they think is to get secured. There are others who are afraid of losing their youth. मैं कैसा दिखता हूँ, झुर्रियां पड़ गई, आँख के नीचे काला हो गया, something like that. Beauty has nothing to do with the age. We can be beautiful in childhood, in youth, and in old age to the extent that we are unselfish. To be sure, we must find the source of security within ourselves. The message given by Krishna in Gita is simple and profound. If the time is bad today for you, try to contribute the best you can to the welfare of those around you. And if the time is good for you today, also try to contribute the best you can to the welfare of those around you. You can serve others no matter whether the times are good or the times are bad. This is the choice which we make in order to find security within ourselves. So this is another mantra Paramatma has given. Swalpam of person. A very small thing can also give you good benefit, can achieve miracles. There is a big heap of grass, for example. Can it face a small fire from the matchstick? Matchstick is so small. The heap of grass is so huge. But swalpamapyasya, little fire can destroy the whole grass heap. It may be very dark that you cannot see anything around you. But can the darkness face the little light of a little candle? Swalpamapyasya. Similarly, if there is fight between knowledge and ignorance, can the ignorance any time win over the knowledge? Little knowledge can destroy the ignorance. Isn't it? Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little practice of this discipline of dharma protects one from the greatest danger of birth and death. That is the greatest fear we have. We want moksha, we don't want to come back to the cycle of birth and death. It protects us from that. Karma bandham prahasyasi. By the equanimity, the man shakes off the shackles of karma forever. Provided he follows the principle of equanimity. Nihabhik kramanashosti. There is no loss of these efforts that we take in Nishkam Karmayog in equanimity. They never go west. Even little follow of this dharma of equanimity, Nishkam Karmayog, will save you from the greatest fears of life. And pratyavayona vidyate. There is no adverse reaction, no side effect, so as to say, of this effort. Like mantras, many mantras may have side effect, bad effect, reverse effect. They say, chanting mantra for putra prapti, somebody is not having any issue and the pujari, the priest asks him to chant a particular mantra. And this fellow has never learned Sanskrit, so he chants Sanskrit shloka wrongly. His pronunciation is bad, wrong. It may cause an adverse effect. Either he will not get son or daughter, or if it is born, it may have some lacuna, some problem in his body. This is the reverse action of mantras. But this equanimity, Nishkam Karma Yoga, no reverse action. Pratyavayona vidyate. So karma without having any desire for karma phala becomes equanimous, and so there is no adverse result of efforts because we are doing all this without any karma phala, without the sense of doership. So why will there be any reverse reaction then? See, Bhagavad Gita attaches great importance to equanimity, samatva. According to Gita, person who has acquired internal and external equanimity is a yogi. Samatva yoga uchyate. That's what we study in this adhyaya only. He is the high level soul. Gita says even if a man is complete with all sattvic qualities, but if he does not gain equanimity, according to Gita, he cannot be called as a perfect soul. So Bhagavad Gita attaches great importance to equanimity of mind. No discrimination whatsoever at all. Okay. Further, look number 41. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरु नंदन बहुशाखा ह्यनंताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम. Paramatma says, व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरु नंदन. व्यवसायात्मिका buddhi, which is single pointed. Buddhi is intelligence. Eka is one. Ananta is unlimited. Avyavasayina. Buddhi, which has many branches. So Paramatma says, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha purunandana bahushaka yanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. The word is avyavasayinam. A is lost in the sandhi of two words as per Sanskrit rules. So those who follow this path, Arjuna, who resolve deep within themselves to seek me alone, that is the only thought in their mind, single-pointedly they think about me only, attaining me only, they attain singleness of purpose, that is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. For those who lack this resolution, the decision of life are many-branched and endless. See, if you think of getting your desires fulfilled from the external material world, the list is long, limitless, isn't it? So it has many branches. Vyavasayatmika buddhi reke kurunandana bhushakha yanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. The seeker of God realization, the intellect is determinate, firm and single-pointed. Why it is single-pointed? Krishna says, look at the lives of worldly people whose minds are many-pointed, bhushakha, jumping like a grasshopper from one blade of grass to another. The worldly people mostly have desires related to personal pleasures, profit, prestige, position, power, etc., which can be never single-pointed, because each desire has several options of getting fulfilled. For example, money. Earning money, there are several options. Doing job, doing business, doing some hanky-panky here and there, corruption here and there, cheating somebody here and there, doing fraud some here and there. So earning money can be done in many times, many ways. So that is not one buddhi. Each kamana can be applied in bhushaka. The human mind is therefore never is at peace in that case. Anxiety kills the stillness, the peace of mind. But in comparison, the spiritual life has only one decision to make. Attaining Paramatma is the sole objective of my life. Full stop. No other desire. Attaining Paramatma is the desire. What else can be there in that mind? Even he has already cut off himself from the material world, and if he is living his spiritual life with this single thought, that is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, Nishchayatmak Buddhi. When the intellect is filled with this single thought, it is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. While the intellect filled with numerous desires, kamanas related to material world is called Avyavasayatmika Buddhi. Once we make the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, our actions start getting changed. We gain skill of functioning under both hostile and favorable circumstances, because our objective is clear in our mind. Attaining Paramatma is the only objective. So whether the circumstances are hostile or favorable, I don't care. Attaining that goal is the only objective of my life. If we make decision to make our life based on meditation, to repeat this mantra as often as we can, to restrain senses vigilantly, and put the welfare of those around us first. Not become selfish, but think about others first. Geeta says, we need not have any doubt about the outcome. We need not be anxious about the result, because that is God's responsibility. If you are following every message of Krishna and Geeta, then he also has some responsibility, no? Boss, I am following everything that you are asking me to do. Please take some responsibility to help me now. I am following you in word and spirit. So, further responsibility of Lord. Self-realization, Atma-Jnana, in any case comes through the grace of Lord only. However best tries we do, unless we have the grace of Lord, we cannot have that Atma-Jnana, self-realization. But that God is always present in us. Once He bestows us with His grace, we can attain that Atma Dhyan, provided we follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Now the question is, have you ever seen the God? What does He look like? Have you ever wondered what it takes to feel His presence? You might not have seen, but have you ever felt His presence? That is, God is there. His presence can be felt through power of prayer. Power of prayer. Here's a small story again. An old woman who had a sick son lying on the bed at home, she goes to a vegetable vendor, to a vegetable shop. But she does not have any money to buy the vegetables. So she requests the shopkeeper to lend the vegetables, even telling him that her only son is sick and he is without food for a day. But the shopkeeper refuses. On the repeated request, the shopkeeper says, if you have any valuable thing, put it on this weighing scale. I will give you vegetables equal to its weight. The old woman thought for a while. She did not have anything like that. After thinking for some time, she takes out a piece of paper, writes something on that piece of paper, and puts it on the one side of the scale, taraju. Seeing this, the shopkeeper starts laughing. You are putting a paper on one side of the balance, yet he picks up some vegetables and puts them on the other side of the taraju, on the other side of the scale. And he is amazed. The paper pan remains at the bottom and the vegetable pan goes up. Then he adds some more vegetable, but the paper pan does not go up. Now the shopkeeper puts some other vegetables, more vegetables, but the scale on the paper side still remains at the bottom. Even after adding vegetables again and again, when the pan on the paper side does not rise, the shopkeeper gets fed up. Then he picks up that piece of paper and reads what is written on that. What this old lady has written on this paper. The paper read like this: Oh dear God, you are in charge of taking care of me. Everything is in your hands now. This is the prayer she wrote. The shopkeeper is very surprised to read this. The shopkeeper is unable to believe his eyes and he reads that paper again and again. But when he does not understand anything, he gives the whole vegetable that is there in his scale to the old woman without saying anything. Le jao, bhai, le jao. Another customer was also standing there, watching all this, what was going on. He explained to the shopkeeper, don't be surprised. That old lady had written a heartfelt prayer on the paper. And only God knows the value of prayer. We need to pray to the God. We need to request Him to help us experience His presence in our life with full devotion, with full faith in Him, like that old lady had. Whether it is an hour or a minute, if it is done with the true heart, God will definitely help us. In this story, the vegetable seller, he also experienced the presence of God in the form of that customer's prayer. See, we cannot see God directly, but we can feel His presence through some subtle vibrations. That's why I always tell people who do Gita Parayan to keep an empty chair when you are doing Gita Parayan. Why? To leave the chair empty for Lord Krishna to occupy that chair and listen to your Bhagavad Gita Parayan. I have sat with many groups in my life and many of them have felt some sensation during recitation of some adhyay in between. 10th adhyay Vibhuti Yoga or 11th adhyay Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga. Reading some adhyay, they feel some vibration, some sensation. I have personally not experienced myself, but people say this. So we need to practice this. Also, we need to practice silence to hear Him. Because the language of God is silence. Language of God is silence, which is complete in itself. Often people have the excuse that, oh, we don't have time. But the truth is that there is no time to remember God. In fact, we need to make God as our partner in every activity that we do. We take food, no? We read paper, no? So in every activity, you make him as your partner. When we think of him, our perception, our problems also start getting changed. And we now see it as an opportunity to excel. If we take him as a partner in all the actions that we take. So the prayer made from the heart full of love and devotion for God never goes unheeded. That is the lesson we need to learn. Okay, let us take a couple of more shlokas. Slok number 42 and 43 we can read together because they are interrelated. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadante vipaschitah vedavadartah partha nanyadasti iti vadinah. And कामात्मानस्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां क्रिया विशेष बहुलां भोगैश्वर्य गतिं प्रति. So further, vedavadartah partha nanyadasti iti vadinah. Their interest in Vedas is limited only to those chapters, those parts of Vedas which deal with earthly pleasures and heavenly pleasures. Because their objective is getting pleasure only. Their objective of life is to enjoy life here and thereafter to enjoy the heavenly pleasures rather than to attain God realization. God realization has not been on their agenda at any time. Pleasure was the only thing that was on their agenda. Yamimam pushyatam vacham pravadanta vipaschita. They cannot discriminate between real and unreal, the perishable and imperishable. Such unwise people, they utter flowery language, flowery word, pushpitam vacham of Vedas, which describes and recommends various acts for the attainment of pleasure and prosperity. Now, many of us read the pothi of some guru, of some Maharaj or some Swamiji. It explains right from the birth of that saint, what help he has given to his bhaktas, what yoga sadhana he has done, all sorts of things. And in the end, it talks about the falashruti, what benefit you will gain if you read this katha, this pothi, then what benefits you will gain. So these people who are called as Vedavadartha by Paramatma, they read only that last chapter which talks about falashruti, what you will gain. They are not interested in other things of Vedas. They are interested in only sakam karma, what I will gain when I am alive and how I can gain swarga when I am dead. Because my objective of life is to enjoy here and enjoy when I am dead. Pushpita means the language is very attractive, flowery, and tempts people to follow and take such recommended actions. But flower is flower, it is not a fruit. The fruit is gained when you get rid of this cycle of birth and death. But you are still at flower stage only, and these people are happy at that. Janma karma phala pradam. That flowery way, instead of giving any permanent and eternal fruit, gives fruit which results in the wheel of birth and death. So it's a very temporary solution. Kriya Vishesha Bahulam Bhogeshwarya Gatim Prati. These actions recommended are quite complex. You have to take a lot of efforts. It's not very easy also to perform the sakam karma prescribed in Vedas. It's not very easy. But these people are prepared for that. If somebody asks in Veda to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do some kind of puja here and there, chant mantra 1,000 times, they'll say, okay, boss, we'll do it. Because their objective is to get pleasure. So it involves number of rituals for attainment of pleasures and prosperity, which involves some very strenuous labor. But they are prepared to do that also. Because they are all Vedavadartha and their objective of life here as well as when they are dead is to have pleasure only. Realization God is not on their eye. Paramatma calls such people as Kamatmana. Okay, we can take one more slok. Slok number 44. Paramatma says further in slok 44, भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया परुतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. Now Paramatma says those whose minds are swept away by the pursuit of pleasures and power are incapable of following the supreme goal and will not attain samadhi. One of the beautiful things of Bhagavad Gita is that it does not say you should do this or you should not do this. Never instructs. Krishna never instructs. Shri Krishna is just showing a mirror to us. If you do this, you will get this. If you do that, you will get that. You decide what to do. Choice is yours. Shri Krishna says, if you want joy, security, wisdom, then this is the path. But if you want sorrow, if you want insecurity, if you want despair, then that is the path. Which path you want to take? Choice is yours. I am not forcing. In this shloka, as well as in slok 42 and 43, Shri Krishna has described those who will not attain samadhi. Samadho na vidhiyate. They will not attain samadhi. Those who say that there is nothing in this world, those who say that there is no God, no other life than eating, drinking, and making merry, then dying someday, such people will not attain samadhi. When people say they are atheist, they don't believe in God, we should actually get surprised. Because even to say that one is an atheist, it requires a different experience, no? Why you say this? In order to say that there is no one in our deeper consciousness, we have to go there in your own deeper consciousness and knock the door. Anyone inside there, please? And if you find no one at home, then you can say I am atheist. But of those who tell you that they are atheist, you ask them a question. Don't you believe in yourself? They will invariably say, of course, we believe in ourselves. Then tell them, then you believe in God. If you believe in yourself, that means you believe in God. Full stop. When Gita uses the terms God, Lord, Ishwar, Bhagwan, it is not referring to someone out there. It is referring to someone who is inside us all the time, who is nearer to us than our own body, dearer to us than our own life. Then how can you say I am atheist? When our heart is full of selfish desires and we are running after sense gratification, we cannot see the underlying principle of existence of that divine. This is a significance word Kamatmana, Paramatma has used. One whose soul is clouded over by selfish desires, Kamatmana. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was fond of saying that Ram, the principle of abiding joy, and the Kama, that means Kamana, the selfish desire, cannot live together. Ram and Kam cannot exist, cannot live together. Now this is difficult to understand for many of us because we feel that even if Ram is to be brought in our life, Kam can be accommodated somewhere in the part of our heart. We can cover it so that he cannot be seen. But Kam can also exist with Ram. But every sant, every Swami will say that it must be either Ram or Kam. We cannot have both of them together. Impossible. Here also, we have to be prepared for a long period of spiritual development before the Kam finally packs up his belongings and leaves our heart to some unknown place of which we don't know the address also. So we should go out forever. But after all, we are all human beings. If the old urges and desires somehow come back to us due to some old samskars of this life or previous life still weighing on us, the best way to take care of such urges, such desires which suddenly prop up is to go for a long, brisk walk, repeating the mantra which you usually chant. If you say Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, keep chanting that mantra, go for a long walk, do some brisk walking till that desire dies out in your mind. The game of spiritual sadhana is a game to be played with a lot of patience and confidence. Yes, I can win over this game. Do we have it? Do we have the confidence and patience in us that we can follow all the messages of Paramatma and attain Him? Confidence and patience is a must. So let us ask ourselves, without confidence and patience, can we achieve the goal of our life? Can you not keep this as objective of keeping confidence and patience in every activity in our day-to-day life? Whatever I will do it with great confidence. Whatever I will do with great patience. Small story again. Long time ago, when the education system was based on tradition of Guru and Shishya, master and disciple, one Shishya's education was about to get completed in his Guru's ashram. He had to leave the ashram for his home in 4 days. On the third day, when he got up after receiving his lessons from Guru that day, in the evening, when it was almost dark, the Guru was trying to teach his disciple one last lesson before leaving the ashram. He said to this disciple, "Come, let's go to the temple." This disciple said, "Gurudev, it has become very dark. Even the stairs of the temple will not be visible." The Guru said, "Light a lamp and carry it along. We can go to temple." So disciple, he lit a lamp, put it on his hand. And as soon as the disciple reached the first step of the temple, the Guru extinguished the lamp. The disciple was taken aback. He asked his master hesitantly, "Pardon me, Gurudev, but why did you put up the lamp out? I am unable to understand. Now, how will we climb the steps of the temple in this intense darkness?" The Guru then gave him his philosophy for the life. He said, when you put your foot on the first step, you will keep getting your footing on the next step. It is better to accept darkness than the light from a lamp lit by someone else. Find your own path in the darkness. And if you keep doing so, a new lamp will be lit within you. Don't depend on the light of the lamp lit by somebody else. You have to light the lamp within you. So by falling and colliding in the darkness, in the midst of inconveniences, your self-confidence will be strengthened. This is a teaching for us in the life. And the goal will be illuminated. If you take the help of this lamp, you will not fall. Yes, okay, agreed, you will not fall. But your goal will be lost. That is why I put out the lamp in your hand. Now this was an eye-opening for the disciple, for the Shishya. He then went ahead in the darkness without fear. First step, second step, then he was confident. Oh, I don't need light. I can climb without light. That day, the disciple reached his goal with his inner guidance. In that moment, the spirit of walking on the paths filled with darkness was awakened within him. Once a person walks on his path to the destination, holding someone's hand, he will always need support in his life. Once he makes it a habit to walk alone on his path of spirituality, he knows he may stumble, he may fall down, but he will know how to go ahead. These days, we wish to take our children to the destination as soon as early as possible. But the real test of life is on the pathways, and it teaches us the spirit of sticking to the goal, the qualities of patience, sacrifice, and acceptance in every situation. That develops in us by walking on this path. You can learn, you can enjoy all this when you take up the journey on your own without external help. Is our excessive guidance depriving our children of this wonderful experience, of their enjoyment of going alone, of their self-confidence, of their patience? Are we depriving them of all this? We should remember that our confidence in our ability to succeed is an important factor in achieving our goals. Same is true for all people, including our children, isn't it? In Gita Pariwar, those who pass Gita Vrati Pariksha exam, we have a group wherein we guide people who go to Sringeri for Sringeri Peeth exam. So I always tell them that the journey is more interesting. Your preparation for the Sringeri exam, this period of preparation is more interesting than getting the certificate from Sringeri. Enjoy this journey. And even if you stumble, the days when you are working so hard for the exam are the days which you will remember for the whole of your life. The moment you get the certificate, your charm will be lost. This charm is lost when you get the certificate. But you will remember always these days of preparation, what you are doing now, and which have taught you so many lessons in the life. But if you keep taking help from everybody on every nook and corner of your life, then you will not learn anything. Try to learn on your own, walk on your own path. Have patience and confidence. I think we should stop here. And now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. Jai Shri Krishna to all.
What a wonderful and thought-provoking session that was. I'm sure all our minds are further illuminated with the light of knowledge and has strengthened our resolve to continue on this astonishing spiritual journey. And not only continue, but to help others too to start their journey by sharing the website link of Geeta Pariwar, www.learngeeta.com, and our Vivechan library, which is www.vivechan.learngeeta.com, to our communities. We now request sadhaks to please raise their hand and, if possible, switch on their videos and cameras to ask questions to Vikas ji.
Jai Shri Krishna. Please go ahead.
Jai Shri Krishna. It's my turn. Okay. When we say dharmo rakshati rakshitaha, and the people who are in that path, and the destructive forces are united, but those who are in the interest of following dharma are not united. How do we expect dharma to be, righteousness to be preserved?
See, if you are, as we discussed, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi and Avyavasayatmika Buddhi, when your intellect is filled with single-pointed destination which you want to achieve, then that becomes a guiding force for you. Number one. Number two, when you feel that you are getting opposed by numerous resources and you are alone, not able to handle it on your own alone, in those situations, you can always seek help from your guru or from the people who are of your own thinking. Like if we get stuck somewhere, we can take help from Gita Pariwar people. In today's context of society, if we feel that we are getting singled out because we are Hindus and there are people who are all getting united against us, against our own interests, we cannot depend on Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna has been telling Arjuna, and that is for us also, that you have to stand on your own. Don't expect that the God will do everything for you. If you stand on your own, I will give you my brain as I have given it to Arjuna and to all Pandavas in the war of Mahabharata. I did not use any weapon. Did I kill anybody in Mahabharata war? So here also, I will not kill anybody. But I will give you my brain. I will give you good ideas how to handle this situation. But have you decided to stand on your own feet? Have you taken any efforts on your own first? If you are sitting quietly at home and tolerating every injustice done to you by others because they are all united and you are all disunited, then the first thing, the call of our is to get united. Have we tried to get united? Have we discussed with the people in our own colony that we must all get united? Have we discussed within our own society, in our own community, that boss, this is the challenge for us. We have experienced this in 2024 Lok Sabha elections also, that because they were united and we were disunited, Modi ji had to be satisfied with only 240 seats instead of 400 seats which he was targeting. Could not get simple majority also on his own. He had to beg for support from others. Having done such an excellent work for 10 years, if a person like Modi has to beg for support from other people who definitely do good bargain and get what they want in return, isn't it? So on our own, if we have this mind, that's why now we have decided, as Puja Swamiji has said, that this time we should ensure that there should be 100% Hindu voting. So in Gita Pariwar Pune, we have decided and we have channelized. There are 5-6 Vidhan Sabha constituency seats in Pune. So in each area, we are targeting the main campaigner of that particular person of Hindu Dharma, and we are going to work our Swayam Sevak, our workers of Gita Pariwar in those areas. They will work with those people and they will go from door to door, knock the door and check whether he has done voting or not. We will not do campaigning. But we should make sure that all Hindus are out, not watching TV or going out somewhere, or not avoiding to go for voting because there is a big crowd there. So this we have to educate people. We have to instill this in their mind that this is a threat to your existence now. Somebody, if you give them this scope, if somebody puts a green chadar on your building tomorrow and says that this is our property, how are we going to resist that? This is the only way that we stand on our own and bring people who are of this part, that whatever is going on against Hindus is pure injustice meted out to us because of the previous governments who have put in such foolish laws in our constitution that which are beyond questions. We cannot challenge them in the court of law. They are above court. So unless we get united, we cannot challenge them. We have to get united, make sure that as they go and vote, 90%, 95% of them, they go for voting. Every now and then they are appealing to people in their community. Likewise, why our own people are not doing that? Every temple in that area, in that locality, why we are not deciding that one day in a week, all of us will assemble here and discuss out this point. Sometimes I get surprised. Pujya Swamiji at the age of 76, he is taking yatra of the whole Maharashtra. And then all our Shankaracharyas of 4 pithas, including Shrungeri, they are sitting quiet. Has any Shankaracharya come out and said that all Hindus should get united? Why Shankaracharyas are only sitting on their gadi? Why they are not coming out in support of Hindus and get them united? Are they there only to read Geeta, or they are there only to get the praise from their devotees? Are they not answerable to their own community? So this is what the role which they need to play, they are not playing. So at least we have to stand up and then play our role. Every Hindu has this sentiment, very strong sentiment in mind. But by nature, we are non-violent people. And we are not creating violence by doing this. By casting our vote, it is not violence, no? It is performing our role, prescribed duty of casting the vote, which we have been avoiding out of laziness. So this time that awakening I see in many people, I hope this time the result will be better and then more and more Hindus will come out and then they will go for voting. Let us hope so. Yes.
Kalpana Tayalji.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
My question is from verse 34.
Yes, please.
Akirti chapi bhutani kathishyanti te vyabhyam. From this shloka, there is one question.
Yeah.
The question is like this verse seems a little contradictory. For soul, there is no kirti or akirti. Soul is beyond kirti and body is as such perishable.
Hmm.
And second thing is that when this world is a dream, so
Hmm.
Kirti or Kirti doesn't make a difference.
Hmm.
And third thing is that when he says that we should be in samatva, we should have equanimity in man and apman.
Hmm.
So there also, if Kirti is there or Akirti is there, we should be equanimous.
Hmm.
And fourth thing is that Krishna himself was run chod. So if he goes, Arjuna also goes, and then what is the difference? So some kind of I feel a little of this.
You are as confused as Arjuna. You see, Paramatma, as I said, he started explaining to Arjuna about the body and soul first. Body is
Yeah,
perishable, soul is imperishable. That
yeah,
was the first principle he was trying to teach Arjuna. Okay. Then he started, when he saw no response from Arjuna, that Arjuna is still keeping quiet, not responding that, yes, now I am ready. He did not say anything, no? So Paramatma has tried to touch every part of human psychology,
okay.
reminding him as Kshatriya, your duty. Then
Like Sham
reminding him
Dam
that,
Dand Ved.
Samdam
कुछ
Dandave.
तो अर्जुन पे
So,
लगेगा time.
some thought should come to your mind that
Yeah,
if not for my kartavya karma, at least for
okay,
my moksha, at least for this, at least for that.
okay, yeah.
If
From
you
that
don't
point of
follow,
view, it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
हाँ,
From that point of view, it's fine. ठीक है, thank you.
Payal Murgeji.
नमस्ते जी जय श्री कृष्णा दीदी जय श्री कृष्णा भैया
Jai Shri Krishna.
first of all it was really amazing and wonderful session and beautiful explanation by you so it was really illuminating
Thank
the
you.
mind and the heart and everything so my question is as this was the explanation that the Swarg and Nark, they are our like a I mean that depends on the desire and the fear.
Yeah.
Yes, but in Puranas, they have given the like from the very beginning when the Puranas came. So Swarg and Nark, the description has been given. So that is the thing like we all have in mind,
Yeah.
according to the like this is hell and this is heaven. So could you please enlighten me with that? And another thing was I was discussing something with a friend of mine, and he said that Puranas are not the original Puranas, but from the ideas, people have given different views and collected some information from like ancient Puranas and wrote on their own, describing or giving the ideas of their thoughts also. I mean, they have included. So is it right or please explain this also.
Okay.
Thank you.
First about heaven and hell.
Ji.
See, heaven and hell, as I said, there are no physical structures that this is heaven and that is hell. Can you point out? Have you ever seen
No,
any hell or heaven here? At
no,
least
no.
nobody has seen that. So what could be heaven and hell in that case? Our mind has lot of fears. Okay. Those fears, when they come into reality, is the hell. Similarly, our mind has lot of hidden desires, kamanas. If those kamanas come in reality, that is the heaven. That's why I said for males, they say that Ramba and Menka will be dancing for you, because invariably, every male, at least when he is young or middle aged, he has that desire in mind, that he wants to be in company of some such Ramba or Menka. And that full desire he cannot fulfill when he is living a life here in this loka, you know. So he believes that after he is dead, he can enjoy that hidden desire which is there in his mind. So these are all the mind games, heaven and hell. And tell me one thing, if there are 84 lakh yonis and you are fortunate enough to get this human yoni in this life, all other yonis are like hell only. You see a dog on the street, Anybody will come and throw a stone at him, or a speeding car will come and crush him with a broken leg, and he will have to move with the broken leg for the whole of his life. Nobody will give him medical treatment also. Is not that hell? So the
Yes.
hell is not somewhere out there. Hell is here only where we are living. Whether it is in our mind or in the form of other species, which we will definitely go if we are not making best utilization of this human species, this human life. That's why Paramatma is again and again telling that attain me and get rid of this cycle of birth and death. That should be our effort. Putting sight on heaven is also a short-sighted view. Because after our Punya Sanchaya is over, you have to come down again in the same life. Paramatma says, why do you do that? Why don't you come to me? Then you will stay with me forever. We will all stay together then. So that is hell and heaven.
So
Okay.
that depends on karmas.
Of course, yes. That
Is it?
depends on karma. And that's why Paramatma is telling from several points of view, we have learned this to attain equanimity through Sankhya Yoga, through knowledge. And now we are discussing attaining the same equanimity through Karma Yoga. So ultimate objective is to attain the equanimity of mind, to give up the sense of doership, to give up the expectation of return reward. If we start living life following these 2-3 principles, nobody can stop us from getting the liberation from moksha. But that has to come as a regular habit, not that somebody is forcing you to do it. And all this will come when all these thoughts, what we are discussing now, or these shlokas, what we are discussing from Gita, we make it a subject matter of our meditation on a day-to-day basis. If you meditate for even 1 week on one shloka, the mind will be so much refined that no bad thoughts will come. Then you will run mad after other shlokas into meditation. That meditation has given me such a great peace of mind that I want to meditate on entire Gita now, one by one, on all shlokas. So that is the magic of meditation.
Sorry, please.
That is the magic of meditation, I say.
Oh,
Meditation.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Meena Deshmukh ji, there are two more sadhaks, Bhaiya.
Okay.
Meena Deshmukh ji, please unmute yourself.
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जय श्री कृष्ण.
दादा दादा प्रश्न मराठीत विचारला तर चालेल का?
हा विचारा. आता तुम्ही हिंदी बोलत नसाल तर मराठीत विचारा. हिंदीत
नाही,
बोलला
मी
तर सगळ्यांना
मराठीत
कळेल.
विचारायला मला सोपं पडेल सगळ्यात जास्त म्हणून
बरं,
विचारते.
ओके, ओके,
बरं,
ओके.
प्रश्न असा होता दादा की 1 ते 18 जे अध्याय आहेत ना आपले सगळे, त्या प्रत्येक अध्यायाच्या नावापुढे योग शब्द आलेला आहे.
हो.
तर हा योग शब्द इथे का जोडलेला आहे असा मला प्रश्न आहे दादा.
आता प्रत्येक अध्यायामध्ये परमात्म्यांनी काहीतरी तत्व सांगितलंय.
हा
आता पहिल्या अध्यायात ते लोक म्हणतात की अर्जुन विषाद योग. विषाद का योग आहे का? अर्जुनाला दुःख झालं, अर्जुन रडतोय, तर काय योग झाला? हो, तो पण योग आहे. जोपर्यंत आपल्या आत्म्यामध्ये, आपल्या मनामध्ये, आपल्या अंतःकरणामध्ये कुठल्या गोष्टीविषयी एक तीव्र इच्छा निर्माण होत नाही, तेव्हा आपण अशा एखाद्या ठिकाणी येऊन पोहोचतो की तिथे आपल्याला मदत करणारं कोणी दिसत नाहीये. अशा वेळेस आपण परमात्म्यांना शरण जातो ना.
जी जी जी
तर
जी.
योग म्हणजे कनेक्शन. योगचा अर्थ आहे कनेक्शन.
अच्छा. जी जी.
गीतेचा प्रत्येक अध्याय जो आहे तो कुठल्या ना कुठल्या स्वरूपात आपल्याला परमात्म्याशी जोडतो. आपल्या
जी,
मनातला विषाद जो असतो तो विषाद सुद्धा परमात्म्यांना जोडतो.
जी.
मी मागे एकदा बोललो होतो की फ्रस्ट्रेशन हा एक वाईट शब्द आहे. फ्रस्ट्रेशन म्हणजे माणसाला अशी विषण्णता आहे ना, फ्रस्ट्रेशन आहे ना, चांगलं नाहीये. पण कन्स्ट्रक्टिव्ह फ्रस्ट्रेशन असं पण म्हणतो आपण. आपल्यामध्ये जोपर्यंत फ्रस्ट्रेशन नाहीये की आय एम लॅकिंग समवेअर, मला काहीतरी कमी आहे माझ्यामध्ये, तोपर्यंत आपल्यामध्ये ती उर्मी निर्माण होत नाही की माझ्यामध्ये कमी आहे तर मला याच्यातनं बाहेर पडायचंय. हे फ्रस्ट्रेशन जे असतं आपल्या मनामधलं, हे सुद्धा आपल्याला एनर्जीचं काम देतं बऱ्याच वेळेला. तर आता पहिला अध्याय जर का विषाद योग असू शकतो, तर मग दुसरा तर सांग की तो नॉलेजच आहे, ज्ञान आहे. तिसरा तर कर्मयोगच आहे. असं प्रत्येक अध्यायामध्ये परमात्म्याने जे तत्व सांगितलंय त्या तत्वाचं पालन केलं तर आपला परमात्म्यांशी योग जुळून येतो. म्हणून प्रत्येक अध्याय हा योग आहे.
जी जी दादा जी. खूप छान दादा. जय श्रीकृष्ण दादा.
जय श्री
आम्ही उत्सव.
लिंगराज साहू जी.
जय श्री कृष्ण भाई.
जय श्री कृष्ण.
I am grateful for your nice presentation followed by nice examples.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, here I have some doubt.
Yeah.
Swami Vivekananda states, Gautam Buddha did not believe in personal God or soul. He was a agnostic. He had doubt about the existence of God. But
Who,
Gita
Shivaji?
has mentioned about the
Hmm.
existence of soul and Paramatma. So kindly highlight on the contradictory statement, sir.
There is no contradiction. Who told you that Shivaji was not believing on God? He was a strong devotee of Bhavani Mata. You have not seen pictures of Shivaji where Bhavani Mata is giving in the sword. He was a great devotee of Bhavani Mata. Shivaji was not an atheist. He was a strong devotee.
Sir,
So many people write many things. Don't go by all that. See, many people, there's some wrong information, could write wrong history.
no, sir, here they also not mentioned about the existence of soul.
Who?
Gautam
The soul
Buddha.
does,
Gautam
soul does
Buddha.
exist, no? Who says the soul doesn't exist? Who has said?
I am not telling some, he has not mentioned in some statement.
That is not correct. That is why we are learning Gita, no? See, other
Sir.
people who have not read Gita, they may talk anything and they may have a lot of doubts in their mind. We also
Sir.
had these doubts in our mind. What is soul? What is body? What is perishable? What is imperishable?
Sure.
All these doubts we also had, no? How did we know that body is perishable and soul is not imperishable? How did we know? After reading Gita only. So we are reading all this to clear our own doubts about
Sure.
human life.
Sure.
So this is the exercise that we are doing.
Sure.
Clarify our own doubts.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Isn't it? Okay.
Santosh Jope ji.
Jai Shri Krishna Dada. Bhaiya, thank you for a very, very beautiful explanation. You explained that the chanting mantras incorrectly can have an adverse effect. Yeah? That way. Now that is really a challenge because we try to learn and then before learning we chant and then learn and then chant. And second aspect is also we try to chant before understanding the meaning. So I want to know in the both aspects. So chanting incorrectly in the process of learning, how can we see that one? And also chanting with understanding of the meaning and without understanding the meaning, what are the consequences or how should we approach that?
You see, first thing first, the mantra which you chant, if you take it from your guru, the guru will make it sure that whatever way he has told you the mantra, he will get it chanted from you 10, 15, 20, 100 times to make sure that you have understood the pronunciation correctly. So any mantra, merely from the book, don't try to read. Get it from an expert. Because in Sanskrit, aghat, rasva, dirgha, visarga, everything is very important. It may change the meaning. Rasva dirgha can change the meaning of shloka. Avagra, if you don't take, it will change the meaning 180 degrees. Because avagra is a. If you want to say anitya and you don't take avagraha, it will become nitya. Exactly opposite of that.
Yeah.
So taking avagraha is a must. So how the slok should be read, particularly when you are reading it for some specific kamana in your mind, then you should get it from an expert. The pronunciation you should learn from an expert and then only go for it. On your own, just reading or Google searching some shloka and reading that would be dangerous. So get it from an expert and do it. Secondly, if you read the shloka without understanding the meaning. Yeah, that was your second question.
Yeah.
See, when you read the shlok properly as per Sanskrit rules of Panini grammar, it creates some kind of vibrations. And those vibrations are important. But if you understand the meaning of it, then your mind, your intellect also gets involved in that shloka chanting. Otherwise, only your tongue is speaking. The mind and intellect is cut off. Isn't it? But when you know the meaning, that's why we try in Vivek sessions to tell the meaning and to give some explanation of those shlokas so that people understand what Paramatma has to give a message to us in these shlokas. After understanding the meaning of shlokas, it gives us a beautiful perspective of Paramatma's message. And then we understand, yes, this is what Krishna wants to say. So understanding the meaning and then chanting, definitely much better than just chanting. It will give you double benefit because your mind, your intellect also will get involved in that spiritual sadhana. Otherwise, only your tongue is getting involved, isn't it? Ultimately, you have to apply your mind and intellect in the spiritual sadhana that you are doing. Otherwise, it becomes only mechanical action.
Yes, yes.
Whether you are reading Japanese or you are reading Chinese or you are reading Sanskrit shloka, makes no difference because you are not understood the meaning. That's why understanding and then chanting has a great advantage. You know every word what I am saying, and then the thoughts keep coming to your mind. Particularly when you are doing meditation on particular shloka, if you are doing meditation, if you don't know the meaning of that shloka, then meditation is impossible. Because meditation first thing requires that you have understood what Paramatma wants to say and you want to inculcate that message of Paramatma in your day-to-day life. That is the objective of meditation. But if you have not understood the meaning of that shloka, what Paramatma is saying, then how can you meditate on that? Isn't it? So whatever shloka, I don't say you to go after all 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever shloka you like in second adhyaya or third adhyaya or whatever adhyaya you want to go, run after it. Go after it. Go through all the experts' advices. Read all possible books and then make your own thinking. Because your manan, chintan, your own contemplation is of utmost importance. Whatever you read, you may forget. Whatever you hear, you may forget. But whatever contemplation you do on your own, that starts becoming your innate nature. You wake up at 2 o'clock in the midnight, that thought will come to you of which you have thought on your own. Not what you have read or what you have heard. But your own contemplation will become your innate nature. And that is what the way to bring Gita in our day-to-day life.
Thank you, Bhaiya. That's very nicely explained. Anitya and Nitya and the whole meaning changes there if you blindly or inaccurately chant that one. Yeah, thank you.
It will change the meaning 180 degrees.
Yeah.
Charna Makhijaji.
Jai Shri Krishna Dada.
Yes,
I
Krishna.
am Alpa Buddhi. My question is very silly and not pertaining to this. This has been in my mind since long that we have been told throughout Gita to rise above the three material modes of nature. That means we can make a change in our nature and behavior. But in one slok it is said, Mithya shau vyavasayaste prakritistvan niyokshe. That means what is your prakriti, you are going to be that only. So what is correct? You are going to be that only, or you will change and your karma will change? I wanted you to guide me on that.
See, your question is right. We perform our karmas based on our past sanskars. Okay. But past sanskars can be cleansed. That's why a person who was a robber or a killer, a murderer in his early life, it's not necessary that in this life also he will be the same. If he goes on the path of spirituality, if not in this life, at least after a couple of lives, he will come on the right track. We need to cleanse our own sanskars with our own sattvic karmas. That is why Gita says that if you are Rajasi, try to come more and more Sattviki. If you are Tamasi, try to become Rajasi and then go to Sattviki. A Tamasi person directly says, no, I will become Sattviki, I will become Rishi Muni. That may not be possible. So the transition takes place, maybe slowly, but you have to make it try sometime.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. That means it is possible to change ourselves. So it is that we are going to, that is the purpose of reading Gita, right?
And whatever slok we have read today, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Swalpamapyasya. थोड़ा तो कर सकते हैं ना?
Yeah.
Nobody is asking you to sit in meditation for all 24 hours. स्वल्पमस्य थोड़ा 10 मिनट तो कर सकते हैं, 15 मिनट तो कर सकते हैं. Like you put recurring deposit in the bank or you put SIP in the mutual fund, every month you may put 500 rupees. But
Bhaiya,
after
not
10,
audible.
15 years, not audible? Can you hear me now?
Yes, Bhaiya, we can hear you. Charnaji, maybe there's some problem with the internet at your end.
Oh, maybe she has some problem. So I was saying that if you put some SIP, it's a mutual fund, 500 rupees a month. It's a swalpamasya, very small amount. But if you keep on doing it regularly, after 5, 6, 10 years, it will grow into a big fund. So same thing is applicable here also. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. You put small sattvic karma on a regular basis, it will save you from great dangers of life.
Thank you, Dada. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I think we have no further questions. Thank you,
Okay.
Vikasji, for that very absorbing Vivechan session and addressing the doubts of the sadhaks. I'm sure all the sadhaks here walk away with a very positive thought and a clearer direction in our journey forward. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, I take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for attending this session and look forward to have all of you back for yet another enlightening Vivechan session next week. Sincere thanks also to the technical and back-end team for the relentless effort in making this session a great service. We now offer our prayers to the lotus feet of Bhagavan, and for that we have Shruti Khodji, a student from Goa. She has been a part of Geeta Pariwar since June 2023, and besides being a sadhak, she also gives seva as a technical assistant and in the contact for forwarding team. Shruti ji, request you to please proceed with reciting the prayer on our behalf.
Jai Shri Krishna. Can you hear me, Didi?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Shruti ji. Thank you very much. And now we will conclude the session with the chanting of the Hanuman Chalisa. Jai Shri Krishna.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस वदन तुम रोज सगावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर गोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।